Hey Revolutionaries, it's Lisa. It's Monday. I'm kicking off our topic for the week talking about online dating. And I thought this was a good topic because I spent a lot of time online dating and I've tried out a lot of the popular sites. And that's actually how my husband and I met, was through online dating. But it can be really horrible and hard. So I tried to come up with some tips just based on my own experiences and possibly for some advice. The first one is you do really have to get your own self-esteem and self-acceptance to a place where, you feel good about yourself. Because if you don't, there's a famous quote by RuPaul that if you don't love yourself, how in the hell can you love someone else? And that's really true. You have to work on yourself first. And then the flip of that is if you don't even view yourself as someone who's worthy of love, then you can't really expect someone else to buy into that. Sorry about the fan. It's really distracting behind my head. But going along with that, you have to be prepared to choose a descriptor about your body type generally on your profile, and try and choose one that you're comfortable with and that's also truthful. A lot of them are like curvy, Rubenesque, a couple extra pounds. Choose one that you feel comfortable with. Voluptuous, that one's on there too sometimes. And then basically accept the fact that some men aren't going to even bother with you just based on whatever category you chose. And that's okay. You probably don't want to date someone who won't even consider dating somebody who's overweight. But then on the flip side of that, don't just assume that some people will think that you're unattractive. If you're interested in somebody, click on their profile, send them a wink or a message or whatever. Don't just count yourself out automatically based on, body types or whatever. Let's see. Another one, when I mentioned this topic to my husband, the first thing he said was choose a current photo, because it's kind of a joke. I had an older photo on my profile when we met. And it wasn't really because I was trying to choose like a photo where I thought I looked thinner, but it was a photo that I generally liked. And in my head, I didn't think it was that old, but when he sort of called me on it, I realized it was probably like 5 years old, so not exactly a current photo. So don't do that. And also put a variety of photos. Don't just have like a close-up cropped shot of your face. Choose a couple of photos where you can see your whole body, where it's just your face, maybe from your waist up. And if you have kids, you might consider putting a picture of your kid in your profile too. Maybe not necessarily where their face is showing, but just so people can get a gauge about your kid. Like, some people don't really understand what it means to have a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old, so that can sometimes just help. The other thing I wanted to comment about online dating is sometimes you invest a lot of time getting to know somebody and maybe exchanging emails back and forth or messages back and forth, and then when you meet in person, maybe it doesn't feel like as strong of a connection, but part of you wants to make it be a strong connection because you've spent so much time in building everything up and getting to know them that you sort of want to make it feel worth your time. You want to make it feel like your time was invested well, I guess. Does that make sense? But there's no point in forcing it if the attraction isn't there or if the connection isn't there. And don't just assume either that because you felt a certain way that the person on the other end does. I remember one time someone called and we talked for like 2 hours, and I remember then the next day he sent me an email. He said, well, obviously the connection isn't there. And I thought, how do you talk to someone for 2 hours if you don't feel like the connection's not there? But that just goes to show you, different people's perspective on the same thing can be very different. I think that's all I had. The last part I put was just don't get discouraged. Online dating takes a lot of time, and you will probably try it for a while and then get sick of it and then maybe get an email and decide to go back, and that's okay. And just another piece of it too about not getting discouraged. I mean, if you were to go to like an airport and look around for people to date, you would probably only be interested in like, I don't know, 2 to 5% of the people that you encountered. So it's going to be the same with online dating. You know, you're going to feel like you're going through hundreds of profiles or, you know, hundreds of messages that go nowhere. And you probably are, but that's okay. Don't get discouraged. Because you really could meet someone out there that's the right guy for you or the right person for you. So that's my take on online dating for this week. I can't wait to see what the other girls have to say, and I will see you next week.